This is state of emergency.
The nightlife, the night circle of sanity, radio.
Let's go get us, Johnny.
The nightlife, the night circle of sanity, radio.
What you got, little mama? Show me what you got, baby. Show me what you got, shawty. Show me what you got, baby. Hands up and wave, 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 wave.
The nightlife, the night circle of sanity, radio.
You want answers, you want answers, you want answers, you want answers.
I want the truth, the truth, the truth.
You can't handle the truth, handle the truth, handle the truth.
The nightlife, the night circle of sanity, radio show.
Looker here. Seems like I ain't been here all month. What's up, man?
What up, Cuto?
Man, look, let me tell you something. It's already October.
I know, man.
January
happens
was
next
last week, man.
I know. You know what happens after October?
November.
Yes. You know what happens in November?
Thanksgiving.
Before, it's a bigger holiday than Thanksgiving.
Don't tell me it's your birthday.
Yes, it is, sir.
I can't believe what?
Yes, sir.
Seemed like you just did that the same time last year. What the hell?
370-something days ago.
Ain't that a blip? Well, wait a minute. This will make you what? 30?
Something.
Right. I don't do math. Math is hard. What?
Actually, it's 370 days away. I mean, it was 370 days ago.
So wait a minute. It's 365 in a year.
Yeah.
You said your birthday's in November.
Yeah.
That math ain't working.
Why isn't it?
Because this is October the 9th.
Right.
So that means 5 days from now would be your birthday.
Right. I said 370 days.
But you said your birthday's in November.
Yeah.
So 5 days from now won't be November.
Oh, so it's 380 days.
If you say so. I mean, if you want to just make up these birthdays and make these birthdays your days, I'm fine with that, man. You know, it's
so
okay.
365 days would be
October 9th, 2025.
No, the day is October 9th. 300, right. So that's 365 days, right?
Right.
So in 5 more days, it'd be the 14th, right?
October 14th.
So that would be 370, and we got to add 30 days to that, right?
If you say so, yeah.
30 days.
Even though it's 31 days in October. So 81 days? 381? 385, 6, 7. Why don't we just do this? Say
November 14th is my damn birthday.
Why don't we just say, hey Siri, how many days between now and November 14th, 2025? And then we'll know. Because, you know, the magic thing knows everything. You can even do the Google machine and it'll tell you. Like, I don't even know. All I know is I just had my birthday and it's coming up again. So, I mean, they come like every other month now for me. You get to be this age. So what you going to do for your birthday, man? What's going on for this year?
Hey, Siri, how many days between now and November 14th? 36 days.
So it's 396 days. You said 36 days.
Yes, 36 days.
300. No, that's not. No, that you got to add the 5 and carry your ought over. That'd be the 401.
Okay, that's what it is. So 401 days ago was my birthday.
So it means 401 days from now will be your birthday again.
Yes. No, 401 days from now.
Yeah.
Will be November 9th again.
No, 365 would be Why are we doing this?
I don't know, man.
I don't even know. Like,
because we miss each other.
we both did so well in high school that this is why we are not captains of industry.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we just know that next month your birthday's coming up. You did the same thing around this time last year.
Yeah.
God willing, you do the same thing next year.
Yeah.
You know, so
all that. I'm gonna tell you what I am doing my birthday weekend. I'm going to the fight.
Who fighting?
Derek Scooter Davis.
That's your cousin.
Yes.
Who he fight? Who he gonna knock out in 5 minutes this time?
Listen, man. I told him. I said, Scooter, this is my birthday weekend. He said, "Oh, cousin, you gonna get the win?" I said, "Can it be longer than 62 seconds?"
Right. I mean, let me sit down and get my popcorn ready.
Enjoy the fight. Put in some work. Famous, and I think I'm gonna get it on the T-shirt before I go to the fight. His famous motto is, "I don't get paid for overtime."
There you go. There you go. There you go.
I'm so proud of him, man. Listen, that kid is so humble, man. And I have some friends from when I was coaching Little League football, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're in the boxing scene now. So to hear them talk about him and not knowing he's related to me, it's, oh my God, it's so
fills you up.
Yes, it almost brings a tear to your eye, man, because I know the path that he took. And I hear when they talk about how special he is. You know, we didn't all seen and heard the comments from Mayweather. Him and Tank is in the same camp, so we heard, you know, the accolades he's gotten from them. But to hear your peers, people that's in your circle that don't know that you're directly connected to him, to hear what they say about them,
so you know it's genuine.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And it's funny because we went to the Palladium up on Liberty Heights.
Yep.
This is before he turned pro. And you walk in the Palladium and you see everybody there. And all of the circles are kind of close-knit from like youth football, right?
Right.
So when you walk in, everybody was like, "Oh, yo, you supporting him?" Because everybody is fighting out of Upton now, right?
Okay.
So they were like, "Oh, yo, you came to support him?" I'd be like, "Nah, I'm here for such and such." They'd be like, "What the hell are you down there in DC for?" And I'd be like, "That's my cousin." They'd be looking like, "What?" You know, and then it didn't hurt that he put the mitts on the dude that night, you know.
Quick, fast, in a hurry.
Yeah, he put the mitts on the dudes, man.
Rolled in with a can of creamy deluxe ass whip.
Yeah.
Extra creamy deluxe.
Yeah. So I'm proud of him, man. So shout out to Derek Scooter Davis. There's still some tickets available, man. November 9th at the Live Casino event.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so definitely, you want to see something, man. It's like 11 fights on the card, so it's definitely worth the ticket, you know?
Okay. Well, yeah, if there's going to be 11 other fights, because if you're paying to see him fight, you ain't going to be worth it. You know, we know black people will show up. Like, I'll get there by the second round and it'll be over.
It takes them longer to walk to the ring. If you add all 4 of his professional fights together,
right,
they still don't complete a fight.
This is what I want him to do. I want him to walk into the ring after introductions and they doing the face off. I want him to look at the dude and say, "Don't take this ass whooping personal." It's going to take me, it took me long to do that, and it's going to take me to knock you the hell out.
And speaking of ass whoopers, man, Sanity, I had the privilege of DJing for another youth football team, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how familiar you are with TikTok, but it's a trend going on TikTok where they show the kids playing football, and when the end of the game is, you know how you show sportsmanship, and you go through the line, you clap hands.
Yeah.
Well, the trend on TikTok is now the winning team is going through the line with a belt in their hand, and they're shouting, "Belt the ass," as they go through the line, right? How familiar are you with the high schools in Baltimore City?
Yeah, pretty much.
So you're familiar with Carver, right?
Oh, yeah.
We were at Carver High School. I'm on the field set up, because that's where I'm DJing from, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm DJing from like the end of the field, right where the track is, right? We see the buses pull up. These kids are playing a team from Philly.
Uh-oh.
We see the buses pull up, and then you hear them chanting. Guess what you think they chanting?
They ain't saying belt the ass.
They are. The whole bus is chanting. Belt the ass. Belt the
Suggity,
ass.
suggity, suggity.
They like belt the ass time. Belt the ass time.
So who won?
Philly.
Oh, okay, well
they handed out. They handed out 3 ass whoopings. They did.
So look, several years ago, one of my still closest friends, because all my tight crew is passed on, but a good friend of mine, his youngest son played Pop Warner, right?
Uh-huh.
And his son, I always told him his son looked just like Ray Rice in his uniform, and about the same height. He was like, I don't know, 7, 8-year-old, and they had a team, man. This kid was so nice with his game, and all the kids were nice. They were like they were beating everybody. So they were beating everybody so bad. I showed his parents the Patrice O'Neal clip of when we were playing football, like our age, because Patrice O'Neal was about your age, I'm a little bit older. But back in the day when we played, when somebody got hurt, like nowadays, everybody take a knee and they have a prayer circle and everything. Like, but Patrice O'Neal kept it real. He's like, yeah, when we played, we didn't get no prayer circle and hold hands and pray. He said we would like do an Indian dance and whoop whoop whoop, like and then like be singing. We knocked him the F out, like running around, and said, and then we take the socks, right? So we take the socks, and then and we wear them on our helmets. So the next week, the team we had to play, we won't play them. That's the team that knocked the nigga out and took his socks. We don't want to play. So I showed it to this kid's parents, and then I made a sign I was bringing to the games and said, "Take your socks." I had a stick with a sock on it. And like I was just out of control in the stands, but they would beat people unmercifully. They had a team come down or come across, I think, from the Eastern Shore, and this is out in Severna Park, all black team, and Severn, from all black team, and this team from the Eastern Shore was all white, and they had this reputation, and they came and everything. And by halftime, it was like 42-0. And they were getting all upset and like talking about, we're going to leave. We want to take this. This is unfair. And we don't even have our starters in the game anymore. We pulled them after the first quarter, and y'all just keep taking this whooping. So this kid, man, he broke my heart when he decided he was going to go play basketball and stop playing football. Wow. And I had to tell him, but what about my feelings? I don't understand. And my nephew did the same thing, dude. He was little league. He was Pee Wee. He was nice. And then I'm gonna play basketball. What about Uncle Yale? Why don't y'all think about me when you're making these life-changing decisions? But they would, man, let me tell you something. They would hand out whoopings, and literally the starters would be like undressed at halftime. They helmets off and pads off, and the second and third string be out there handing out whoopings on people, man. Wow. I mean, yeah, it was something fierce, man. But then I'd be up in the stands with my sign and getting the other parents to be yelling, "Take his socks, take his socks." Well, yeah, those are good old days, man. And then look, when I played, my little league team was not that good, and we were decent. We weren't that good. But when you talk about, everybody talk about the belt to ass. My old man, my stepdad had he and his buddy had a little league team, Pop Warner team, that just freight trained everybody. They beat everybody's ass. They won the states. Then they went that first year. They went to North Carolina in a tournament and won there. Then they went to Florida for Orlando for a tournament and whooped ass down there. Wow. And then they played a team on Turner Station. I never forget this, man. People exaggerate shit, but if I'm lying, I'm dying. These were like 10, 11-year-olds. Okay. They go to Turner Station, play this team from Turner Station. They won the game, but they went like 2 years without being scored on. know what I'm saying? Like they were just destroying kids. Never got scored on. Go to this game against Turner Station, and they gave up a touchdown. And all these little niggas was laying on the field crying and upset like they lost the game. They were already up like 52-0, and they gave up a touchdown, crying and everything. After the game, one of their star players takes off his helmet, walks off the field, gets in the car, and drives off. We're like, wait a minute. Hold on. That kid ain't 11. That kid ain't 11. Man.
Yeah, I remember one time, man, we was playing the Northwest Bulldogs. We was up at Northwestern High School, and we won. But this one kid, he was giving us the goddamn blues. I promise you, Dale. We were sitting there like, that kid need to be in somebody's professional uniform. Because if he got to the sideline, it was
you forget it.
We were leaving the game. We were going home. And we got the kids in a van, right? The kids are yelling, there's number 19. There's number 19. He was driving in right.
That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you.
In a Toyota Supra.
And what age was supposed to be?
11, 14.
That's what I'm saying, man. There was some ringers. There's some ringers. There's always some ringers, man. Some people don't care about the rules whatsoever. So look, you brought it up. This wasn't going to be the focus of the show, but I got to do what I got to do.
The Ravens know what they did Sunday.
See, when you said, kid, run down the sideline.
22.
Let me tell you something, man.
Mark, been listening to you.
So let me roll back a little bit.
Right.
On air, you and I had this whole discussion, right?
Yeah.
You were upset that the Ravens did not re-sign who?
Odell.
And I told you Odell or Derrick Henry.
And we agreed on Derrick Henry.
Right. And before last week, Derrick Henry had still done more
than Odell
for the whole season.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So I'm home. I traveled last week. We'll talk about that in a minute. I had a lot going on, a lot of stressful stuff with my mom getting better and all that, had all that going on. And Sunday, all I wanted to do was just sit down, watch the Ravens, just truck Cincinnati. And I didn't even change I got up, I brushed my face, I washed my teeth, I made a little something to eat. I'm in my pajamas sitting in front of the television. I ain't doing nothing today at all, man. I just need to have a nice, easy Sunday because the friggin' Bengals ain't about nothing this year. They 1-3. Ravens coming off beating the Cowboys and beating Buffalo on Sunday night. That game was phenomenal. Oh my God, that game was off the chain being in the stadium. You don't even know the energy. This joint was popping. Wow. So I'm just watch this game, and we go up 10-0. I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be a good day. Yeah. I get up, I go get a beer. Now it's like 1:30, so I'm justified. It's a Sunday. I'm having a beer. And these MFs start giving up touchdowns like it's the government cheese giveaway in the 70s. Like, what is happening? We're up by 3 now. We're down by 4. Then we're down by 10. Then we're down by 7. Then what is happening right now? My stress level is off the chain. All right, so okay, let's start the game. Derrick Henry goes for 10,000. He rushes, reached that 10,000 yard milestone. Everybody's happy. Then he scores his 100th touchdown. Everybody's happy, and then they forget about him for the rest of the game. Now I get it. Cincinnati loading the box. They're not gonna let him beat them. But our defense ain't the defense of the early Ravens. They're giving up touchdowns like it's lottery tickets. I'm like, oh my God. So we down by 10 in the fourth quarter with less than 15 minutes to go in the game. Yeah. Justin Tucker, who hasn't been Justin Tucker all year, lines up for a 56-yard field goal and nails that shit. He hits it, it goes left, and then like a beautiful golf shot, it turns into the middle of the ends, the field, the goalpost. Man, I'm like, you know what? We might. I don't wanna, but we could.
And we were still down by 7.
We're still down by 7, right? Yeah. Right. But then But then all game,
Lamar
Joe
Jenkins
Joe Burrow been handing out touchdowns, right?
Yes.
He throws the ball, and Marlon Humphrey gets the interception. Like, oh,
Yes.
sugarty. What we get?
About
Right
the ass.
here we go. About
About
that. And look. At this point, I'm standing. I'm in front of the television. I'm standing because I drank the beer, and the beer is trying to leak. Right? But I can't, I don't want to walk away because I don't want to miss nothing.
Right.
So it gets the interception. So I'm like, yes, oh, and I start using adult bad word language. Like I'm in the house by myself. I'm loud. I don't care. Right. So then Lamar Aloysius Jackson, like you said, about to get sacked, pushes homeboy down. Homeboy comes away, pushes him down again, running toward the sideline, about to get taken out. Leaps at the sideline and throws the most beautiful floating pass into the end zone into Isaiah Likely's hands. Shout out to my cousin Earl Eccles in South Carolina, who called me when we drafted him and said, this kid went to Coastal Carolina. Y'all got something. He's going to be something else. And I was like, he's just on the team because we got Mark Andrews. But this dude is balling his behind out. Yeah. Boom. Touchdown. Extra point. Game is tied. The game is tied.
And you notice Harbaugh didn't go for the win. So all y'all to be talking about Harbaugh, get off his dick.
Thank you. Tied game. We doing this damn thing now, right? We doing. Oh my God, right? So now I'm standing in front of television. I'm doing this right now. Here we go. Right? And the bladder's like, man, I ain't got time for this. Win the toss. Marching downfield. And the ball, Lamar takes his eye off the snap as the center snaps the ball, and the ball hits the floor just like the miraculous touchdown. And I'm saying this shit ain't gonna happen twice, and it doesn't. They get the ball on the other side of the 50, and I'm like, this boy, I am screaming, and I was like, you know what? F it.
I'm going to kick a field goal.
Game over. I'm going to the bathroom, and then I was walking. I was like, you know what? No. They're gonna run the ball twice,
and they kick a field goal.
So obviously on the third down they're gonna throw it to get a little more yardage for this field goal, and they don't. And my bladder is like, and like, okay, all right, I'm standing in front of you. Okay, all right, I'm halfway between the living room and the kitchen. Like, okay, all right, here we go. They kick the field goal, and I watched that shit go wide left, and I'm like, oh my God, this game is going to make, oh my God. So, okay, all right, we get the ball back, and it's a field goal. When you miss the field goal, you get the ball not from where it was snapped, but from where it was spotted. So that's 8 yards back. I said, you know what? We got Justin Tucker.
Yes.
If
Tucker we trust.
And all AU Tucker-matic, all we got to do is get across the 50 and a couple more yards, and we got this. We're gonna walk off of this. And my voice was just hard. And I'm in this whole conversation with myself, right? This is me, just me. Had this whole conversation, and they hand the ball off to Derrick Henry. And this son of a biscuit goes left
and up the field,
hits that corner. Oh, Lord. Look,
I knew he was going to score, though. I just knew he was going to score.
When he went around that corner and the linebacker waved at him, I was like, it's over. I'm jumping up and down and screaming and hollering, and then he gets caught. But I was like, oh, wait a minute. He's inside the 10. He's inside the 10. And I yell, this mama, and I'm screaming, that's why we got there. And I said, oh, I'm gonna get on rock. Oh no, he wanted Odell Beckham. F Odell Beckham, this dude right here. And I was like, I know Harbs is gonna give him the ball, and we're gonna walk us. And then Harbs says, calling for the field goal. And I was like, that's smart.
Yeah.
That's smart.
That's smart football.
Smart football. Ain't no need taking 2 more downs to do whatever. Kick this MF right now and let's go home.
Why risk a fumble or interception?
Interception,
Penalty.
weird stuff happened.
Yeah.
You know we playing 12 men every week because the actually 15 through other refs. Like we know, man, when that ball went through, I ran up and down my house, like just losing my mind. And then I remembered, oh yeah, I had to pee. Yeah, go to the bathroom, and I was no more good the rest of the day. The voice was gone. I kept saying I need to run downstairs, take this laundry down the basement. I ain't doing that. I'm just gonna sit here because we do the picks, and I gotta watch it. I got 3 other games right all Sunday. Like that's all for the whole week. I'm usually average 9 to 10 games. I got 4 games right this week, but it's okay because the one that mattered
was the Ravens.
Man,
I was in the house. I was yelling. I was like, Yale told him. Yale told him. And they looked at me like, Yale told him what? What do you got to do with this? I was like, Yale told him to the whole out of 22. And look what's happening.
Use that dude. He didn't listen to me the first 2 weeks. He caught on week 3, 4, 5. This man is a beast.
Did you hear him after the game when he said he didn't realize somebody was chasing him? He said if he'd have known somebody was behind him, he'd have gotten there.
He'd have got it right. He was like, I can let up. But you know what's crazy funny? You know who tackled him?
Who?
Geno Stone, who was here last year.
Yeah, he was with the Ravens last year.
And then I watched it play from another angle. I've been looking at stuff. Geno has not been setting the Bengals secondary on fire. Geno is just a backup. I mean, you're in the NFL. That's a major accomplishment. You're starting in the NFL. That's another major accomplishment. But he's not a superstar, right? He got a good contract from Cincinnati because he had 7 interceptions here last year, which was amazing. But he's not. But when Geno playing deep center, or actually he was playing close to the line, when he saw Derrick Henry break and go around the corner, he cut an angle. You could see it. He cuts an angle and runs to where he thinks Derrick Henry's going to be. I mean, it was an amazing rundown. He got there and missed. And then Derrick Henry had to make a cut because the other guy, and then he comes around and he pulled him down from behind. So I'm going to give Geno his credit. But if not for that play, Derrick Henry has a total 100-yard game and, walk-off home run. But, man, this team, and then we got the Washington team for football coming up here on Sunday.
Football right now,
yeah, they are, man. They got a rookie.
I think we can get them though.
We definitely gonna get them. They got a rookie quarterback. They call him Little Lamar Jr.
Lamar 2.0.
Yeah, they got and I'm happy for them finally. But the last time they started a rookie quarterback against the Ravens, his name was RG3. And he got trucked.
He got belt the ass. Belt the ass.
Woo! I keep that picture on my phone of Haloti Nada about to run him over, and he looks like a little kid about to get spanked. He's like, ah! Busted him up. He was never the same quarterback after that. But it's going to be a good game. But I think we're going to get this one, man. I mean, and when the season schedule was announced and I saw we had the Washington team here, I was like, you know what? This is going to be an easy win because they always suck. Now it's going to be a good game. Yeah. They're 4-1. 4-1. And I didn't know. I asked somebody who's a fan. I said, like, who they beat? And this guy, he went in about, oh, you don't know. I was like, no, seriously. Like he was like, don't belittle us. A win in the NFL is hard to come by. And I was like, no, I really don't know who y'all played. Like I'm asking who you played. I don't know. And he runs down. It's the Giants. It's Cincinnati. It's Tampa Bay, and a couple other teams. The only team that they've lost to was Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay has been playing good football. Yeah. So that's understandable. But they have not played a team like the Ravens yet. They haven't played a Lamar Jackson yet. They haven't. I mean, our defense ain't what our defense is supposed to be, but they ain't played Roquan Smith yet. So we're going to find out We're going to find out. All I know is I'm going to be in the stadium on Sunday. Who else do I know might be in the stadium on Sunday?
Right.
Your
BFF?
What? How did you get a ticket to the game, my friend?
My BFF.
What? How much did you pay for that ticket to go to the game?
$3.99.
That's what I'm talking about, because who's your boy?
Yo, Beverly, the Nitelifer.
I look out for those who look out for me. That's all I'm saying. My boy, I got you.
Yeah.
Got you. So,
hey man, I'm trying to line up something special right now. I would know in about 30 seconds. He's tickled pink about Sunday's game.
Tickle pink.
Yeah, he's tickled pink about the to give you a backstory. So when we do get him in here, you can talk to him about it. The Ravens and the Redskins at the time played, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's in a group of fellas. This is like the bro code, right?
Mm-hmm. Everybody's
in the groups are Ravens fans. He's the only Redskin fan, right?
Ooh.
He said he got some people working in his house right now. He's actually living. He moved and relocated to Memphis. But to give you the backstory, he's the only Redskin fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
He decorated his man cave with nothing but Redskin paraphernalia.
That burgundy and gold.
Yes. And then he had the big heads. Remember the big heads? You put them on the wall?
Yes, the fat heads.
The fat heads.
Yeah.
He had fat heads all over the basement, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is what he did. When it was his turn to host for that week, now we all got to sit on Redskin paraphernalia and watch the game. His wife, rest her soul, that was my baby. She decorated the bathroom in Redskin stuff, right? We all took pride in going in there and pissing in the bathroom because he had like the Redskin toilet and stuff on there. Guess what he did? The light switch on the wall, he took a big head and put it on that wall of Art Month, right? So in order to go in the bathroom, to put the light on, you gotta touch Art Month. Yeah, but you had to touch his nuts.
Oh my God.
Yeah. You know, everybody using the bathroom, leaving the door open so they ain't got to turn the light on. It was just horrible. So I said that to say, when the Redskins played the Ravens, right?
Yeah.
He was so confident in his team, he made a bet, right? Mm-hmm. Whichever team lost had to wear the jersey of the winning team. So you're talking about 8-9 dudes that would have been in Redskin jerseys.
Right.
But of course we won.
Okay.
So we all surrounded him. He had on a Ray Lewis jersey. While we were on the air, I'm gonna find the picture and show it to you. But it was miserable. And I don't know, to this day, we still don't know how I got the Fox 45.
Okay.
And somebody sent the picture, the Fox 45. So all the people that didn't see it on Facebook got to see it on Fox 45. That picture haunted him for like 3 years. So he's really showing his butt right now because he knows the game is going to be a hot one Sunday.
So for him and for everybody else, just keep one thing in mind.
22.
The Ravens,
number 8,
went to D.C. and lost to the Washington team back in 1999/2000 on a stupid play. They won, game over. They lost their minds. They had beaten the Ravens. The Ravens were all upset in the game. I think the score was like 9-10, was something crazy like that. It was a close game, but we went on to win the Super Bowl that year. I was working in DC, working for George Washington University, and all the people I worked with were Redskin fans. And I had a dude come to me and say, well, really part of that Super Bowl belongs to us because we beat y'all. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? A couple teams beat us. Just because y'all beat us, we still hold the ring. Flash forward 2012, Baltimore Ravens playing the Washington football team. They got a rookie quarterback, RG3. Kid is setting the league on fire, just like we talked about. But he had to run into October. Had to run into the Ravens in DC. Haloti Nada bust up RG3, changed the projection of that kid's career, but the Redskins still won. Ravens go on, win that Super Bowl that year. So all I'm saying is, win or lose, this ain't the end of the day for the Ravens. If the Washington team beats us and that puffs up their chest and makes them feel strong, that's fine. But if chances are, if they beat us, we're going on to win the Super Bowl. I'm just saying, it's happened twice before. Lightning can strike again. So we'll see. But I think we got them this time. And let's not forget, we played the Redskins. It's probably the game you were talking about, Rock. We played them on a Monday night game, and Ed Reed lost his mind that game. He blocked a field goal. I think he returned a punt for a touchdown. He caused a fumble or got an interception for a touchdown. Like, there've been some good games between the two teams. So I wouldn't be surprised if this game was not another really good game, and whoever comes out on top comes out on top. And it won't be the end of the season for either team. But I have my faith in my purple and black. So I'm going to go with that. Now, we got all the pleasantries out of the way. We've talked about the Ravens. We've talked about various things tonight. And I was gone last week, had to take care of some business, work related, was out of town, and I'm back. And there's been some stuff that's been going on while I was gone. America, talk to you for a second. The election is coming down to the wire. We're like, Rock and I had a whole lot of questions about when's his birthday from now. All I know is in less than 30 days, America's got to make a decision. We got to make a decision about what kind of country we're going to be and which kind of way we're going to go. We're going to elect a new president regardless. It's either going to be the first female president, the second black president, or we're going to reelect Donald John Trump, and we're going to see what that's about. But Rock, I have a question for you.
Got an answer.
Did you just get food delivered?
No, I didn't.
Did I get anything delivered?
No, you didn't.
I'm hungry. I don't understand how food comes into this station, and I did. Last time this happened, there was a pizza that ended up on the floor. Karma's a bitch. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to tell you, karma's a bitch. Just putting it out there, just
like a French fry.
A whole French fry? No, man, you eat all your whole French fries. I'll be fine over here, starving. I'm on a diet now anyway. But no, I'm just gonna sit here and smell your food and be upset about it. But it is what it is. But listen, I was talking about the election coming up, and before I talk about the upcoming election and what's going on a national level, world level, I'm going to talk about something Tip O'Neill, who was former Speaker of the House back in the days when Jimmy Carter and Ronald Reagan were presidents. And shout out to Jimmy Carter, just celebrated his 100th birthday. Is the longest living ex-president in history. Not that that's a record you can take anywhere or to be proud of in any partisan type of way, but the man he was not the greatest president, but he's been a remarkable former president. he's done more for the world and this country from a society standpoint than any former president ever did. So we got to give him his props now while he's still here. And for those who don't understand, don't realize, the whole Habitat for Humanity was started by Jimmy Carter and his wife, and they built homes, and the foundation's still going on. But he, like, literally, he and his wife went out there and built homes for people who were not able to afford their own home or build their own home or have housing. And they built communities, man, by hand, literally by hand, built houses for people. But Tip O'Neill once said, all politics is local. Now, this is what I do. This is the umbrella in which I stand under. And the whole focus of this show is me trying to give you truth about what's going on in America on a national level and from a world standpoint on a lot of different things. But I very rarely talk about local politics. But I got to go in on something local for Baltimore City right now. And Rock, I appreciate your perspective on it. If because I need to hear it. The Baltimore City Council just passed a bill to make gas-powered leaf blowers illegal in the city.
What?
I do not understand this. I understand the environment is important. I really understand the environment's important. But I need somebody to explain to me why we need to pass a bill to ban gas-powered leaf blowers. Now, regardless of the fact that everyone's going to have to now go out and buy an electric leaf blower that Baltimore City is not going to subsidize, but there are bigger problems in this city than gas-powered leaf blowers causing pollution and noise pollution. You're still going to have gas-powered lawn mowers, right? You're still going to have gas-powered cars. Just about every city vehicle, every city government vehicle is gas-powered. I don't understand why the whole bill had to be written and will be enforced about gas-powered leaf blowers. This is the stupidest, most micro-focused, myopic law for this city that I've seen in a long time. And I'm 62 years old. I was born in this city. I've lived in this city the majority of my life. I do not understand it. I don't know why it had to be a law. And I don't understand why it was passed as a law. Because, one, it's a waste of time. But more importantly, there are bigger issues in the city. And then I see who's the sponsor of the bill, and I meant to write down this councilman's name, and I will have his name for the next show, and I will have it on the Nitelifer online Facebook page, and I'll do a whole op-ed about it, and I'm going to send it to the Washington Post. I'm sorry, the Baltimore Sun, and I know they'll publish it because they are now a very right-wing leaning newspaper, since the guy who owns Fox 45 here in Baltimore has purchased them and is changing the whole culture. That's all Sinclair Broadcasting, Fox News, all that. And anything that goes against the city and what the city stands for when it's under Democratic rule, which it always has been, they're going to come against. And I have to say what I have to say. I don't normally talk about local city politics, but the city council and Brandon Scott, y'all have missed this. This is a mistake. This is a waste of time. And I understand, like I said, the councilman who sponsored this bill and pushed this bill through is a young white guy, and I'm sure he lives in a part of Baltimore City that I don't. I don't live in the worst part of Baltimore City, and I don't live in the best part of Baltimore City. But I live in a decent area, and it still needs some help. I'm sure this councilman, if he says, oh, I'm on the city council and I got potholes in my street, I need these potholes filled, the city's coming out there and filling those potholes. If he says my trash wasn't collected this week, they're going to come out and collect his trash. I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is where I live in Baltimore City. My street has had potholes for the last 5 years. The whole side of the street that my house is on is deteriorated. And I've been calling for Baltimore City. I've called 311. I put in 311 online service requests to get my street patched. Ain't nobody been out there. It's been over 6 years I've been fighting for this. My street is a one-way street leading out. I live at the end of a one-way street leading out. It intersects with a street at the bottom of the block, and there's another street on the opposite of my street that is one-way going in. Both of those other two streets have speed humps in the street the city put in recently to control people speeding down the streets at ridiculous speeds. I put in a service request about 10 years ago on my street for speed hump. I don't have a speed hump yet, but what I got on my street is a sign that says slow down, speed hump. Ain't a speed hump on my street. We are now banning gas-powered leaf blowers, and I can't get my street patched. I can't get a speed hump. And my street is typical of a lot of streets here in Baltimore City. I go through neighborhoods that need a lot of stuff, street lights out. Like I said, I live at the end of a one-way street leading out, the end of the exit. People come down my street speeding the wrong way all day long. I look out my window, I see at least 6 cars every day going down my street the wrong way and speeding. And when I don't see the one speeding going down the wrong way, I see him speeding coming out. And it's not going to be long before these two things meet in the middle. But we got street lights out. We got crosswalks that have been marked off for churches, for people to be in the side, to be in the walkway and stop for pedestrians. They run over these street signs and these barricades all day long. We got crime in the city that's not as bad as it has been as far as murders, but we got all kinds of crime happening in the city that they're not addressing correctly. When Stephanie Rawlins Blake was the mayor, I went to a city council meeting and I stood up and said, we need to have neighborhood policing again. When I was growing up, the cops walked a beat. They walked through the city. Love them or hate them, they walked through the street. They knew all the good people in the neighborhood and knew all the troublemakers in the neighborhood. Baltimore City cops don't walk a beat anymore. Not in my neighborhood, not in most neighborhoods in the city. But there are parts of the city. I have an associate who I don't associate with anymore, who's a lawyer, who handled a case for me. She lives over in Roland Park. When she was dealing with my case, I went to her home office to give her some information for my case. And she went on about this crazy thing that happened in her neighborhood where a woman was riding her bike down the street and some guy jumped out and scared her. And oh my God, the neighborhood was in an uproar and they posted signs and the city police were there and they walked around till they posted up on the street and they had cops on the corner until they found and caught the guy. It took them 2 weeks. Man, if you get knocked down or scared on my block, you just better get up and run. You can call 911. They ain't sending the cop. They're not sending police. They're not going to set up a neighborhood watch. Down the street, into the street where I live on, several times in the 22 years I've been living back in Baltimore City, people have been shot and or killed in my neighborhood, on my block, you don't see an increased police presence. Into my block every Friday and Saturday night when the weather's nice, Sunday night, young people down there, they're standing on the corner. They're racing the dirt bikes or the scooters. It's a madhouse. Well, the cops ain't coming around. So I'm saying this to say we got major problems in the city that are only being addressed in certain neighborhoods. And these neighborhoods are represented by council people who say, oh my God, the leaf blowers are so loud, and they can get a bill passed to stop it. And I understand I'm old, I'm older. Dirt bikes running through the city bother the shit out of me. But when they go down my street all day and all night during the summer, it bothers me. I'm not trying to take away from anybody else's fun, but the shit is out of control. I call for the police. They don't come. They're not out there. We've had bills and laws passed on these dirt bikes. They're not being enforced. That same city council meeting I attended, I met with a councilman who's no longer on the council. I don't even know if he's still alive, who made this declaration that he was going to set aside, he's going to make sure to set aside property in the city for dirt bike tracks and a park for people to ride the dirt bikes and race and sponsor on it. That was just talk. That shit never happened. Ever. When are we going to stand up and stop doing stupid shit in this city and be about progress for everybody in the city? You go over by Hopkins University, they've got Hopkins security backed up by Baltimore City Police on just about every corner. Ain't nobody getting mugged or messed up over there. There's no drug traffic going on over there. There's nobody getting murdered over there. You go to the stadium on a Sunday afternoon or a night game, there's police presence like ain't nobody's business. They're on the corners. They got 2 and 3 and 4 cops on each corner, not only directing traffic, but watching people. Because the last thing that's going to happen in Baltimore City is someone get hurt going to or coming from a Ravens game. We have the resources, we have the ability. Why the hell are we wasting that type of stuff? And now we're going to have cops enforcing leaf blowers? Are you kidding me?
Why do they want to ban it?
Why do they want to ban it?
Why do they want to ban it?
Because it's making too much noise and it's pollution. You can't tell me there's more pollution coming from a goddamn leaf blower than coming from cars in the city. If we're going to be talking about pollution, we got smokestacks giving off toxic fumes all down in the Dundalk area, all down in the old Canton area, all that. Like we not. I mean, that's an excuse, man. They're not really out there. They're not banning for that. It's because somebody is upset that their Saturday morning is being interrupted by some people's lawn services or people themselves using leaf blowers to clean up their lawns. It's bullshit. If they would just take the time to come out of their own neighborhoods and go look in some of these neighborhoods where we have murders and assaults and gunshot victims happening on a regular basis and be about that instead of noise pollution and the minor extra air pollution caused by gas-powered leaf blowers. I know I don't even need to look at facts. It's just common sense that there are fewer leaf blowers in Baltimore City than there are lawn mowers in Baltimore City. So if we're not going to ban gas-powered lawn mowers, why the hell are we banning gas-powered leaf blowers? And I hate to be this person, but again, white people, when shit bothers them, they can get laws passed and they can get police presence and they can get action happening for them. But you go over on Ricestown Road and Park Heights on the black side of Park Heights, and then you go across that line at Northern Parkway and see the difference in how the city looks and the streets look. This makes no sense, man. I get upset. I roll my eye because I have to take my mom to Sinai Hospital every week for her treatments. And sidebar, people see me wearing this thing on my shoulder. My shoulder's jacked up. I'm now going to be getting uh, uh, physical therapy on my shoulder at Sinai myself. So at least twice a week, I got to come over Park Heights, go to Sinai Hospital, and see just how crazy the differences are between Northern Parkway, Park Heights, and Pimlico, Park Heights.
And it's only one block.
And it's only one block. And even that block looks a hell of a lot different in May, but in middle May, that whole area looks a lot different when they're getting ready for the Preakness. But I know this won't be the last time I get on my high horse about what's going on in Baltimore City, but this is just some bullshit. I haven't seen bullshit like this since Stephanie Rollins Blake was mayor, and we had the blizzards of all blizzards, Snowmageddon, Snowpocalypse. We had at one point 47 inches of snow on the ground in Baltimore City. And Stephanie had a press conference and said that she and her administration were working hard, but the streets weren't going to get plowed because the storm was so bad and they couldn't get the vehicles and they couldn't get the resources together to get to all the side streets because of the snow. And we as citizens just have to sit back and wait and have patience, and they'll get to us and yada, yada, yada. And it might be a week before they get to plow your street and yada, yada, yada. And then she turns the mic over to the guy who was the city DPW chief at the time. And this MF comes on behind her and says, look, just because there's a lot of snow, please be mindful. There's still a city ordinance that after the last snow, you have 24 hours to clean your sidewalk and your walkway. And we will be handing out fines to people who don't do that. And I was like, are you effing kidding me? I can't drive my car. You're going to tell me I can't drive my car because you can't get plows to clear the street, but I got to come out here and shovel 47 inches of snow within 24 hours after the last flake of snow hit the ground? And you're going to fine me if I don't? How are you going to fine me if you can't get on the street to get to my house? So that was 2010. Here we are 14 years later, and they are talking about leaf blowers that are gas powered are going to be outlawed. It doesn't make any sense, man. It's just ridiculous in the extreme, in my opinion. And if you don't agree with me, I don't care. This is what it is. And I'm, like I said, I'm gonna write a letter to the Sun. And if I can get on TV, I'm gonna do that, because this is absolutely the stupidest shit that they have come up with in 14 years. So that's the local politics. Let's get to the national shit, man. I got a half hour.
I'm scared.
So
I'm scared, yeah.
Prayers, literal prayers and well wishes to everybody in Florida. My stepbrother and his husband. I got cousins down there. I got friends down there, very close, dear friends, all living in Florida. And I'm scared for them, man. This storm that's coming. They just went through something with Hurricane Helene. And that went up as far as Atlanta, Georgia, and North Carolina. That storm affected those areas. In central Georgia, Atlanta got hit bad in certain spots, and flooding, rivers overflowed. This storm that's about to hit now, Milton, right on the heels of Helene, is bigger and probably going to do more damage than Katrina did. We have to be realistic that a lot of people are going to die. That's unavoidable. Some people live in areas that you better have flood insurance because it's coming. And to my point, in Georgia, people's houses, in North Carolina, Asheville basically got isolated from the rest of the country. And those people lost their houses and don't have insurance because they don't live in flood areas, but they got flooded. The craziness about this whole situation is Donald Trump and his MAGA team of supporters are spreading this rumor that FEMA no longer has money for disaster relief because they gave all of it to immigrants. This is an out and out, bold-faced lie. And people are believing this shit, just like they believed that in Ohio, Springfield, Ohio, Haitians are eating dogs and cats. They believe it because they want to believe it when there's no evidence to prove it. And they don't want evidence. They don't have evidence. They don't look for evidence other than what's in their own little bubble, which is more right-wing media force feeding them the same bullshit that he espouses. There is money in FEMA. FEMA's funding has been raped before. During the W. Bush administration, when he decided to go to war in Iraq for the second time over some bullshit, because there were no Iraqis that attacked America on 9/11, but we went to war in Iraq with that as a pretext. They took money from FEMA because they deemed FEMA as a bloated agency that didn't need funding. So when Katrina hit in 2005, the response was slow and ridiculously bad, and more people died than needed to die. Not that anyone needs to die, but unnecessarily people died because FEMA did not have the resources or financial or people to get down there to do what needed to be done to build that area back up initially, because that money and the Army Corps of Engineers and their funding were all over in Iraq during that war. But since then, Congress has always funded FEMA, even though there's a list of about 20 senators and Congress people, Republicans, who voted against funding FEMA. Republicans, MAGA people, Project 2025 will say, if enacted, that emergency relief for storms and things like that, basically FEMA, will be left up to the states and be no more federal response available for situations like that. But this myth, and it's a myth, it's not even a lie, it's a myth that FEMA will not have money. I got into a debate, an argument with a classmate of mine, high school classmate of mine, who's a Republican, who's a diehard Trump supporter, God bless him, who told me that because of FEMA not having any money for the money going to the immigrants, they can't prevent these storms anymore. So let's talk about that real quick. There's not a government agency on the planet that can prevent a storm. The same people are the same ones who denied that climate change is happening. And I know I just did this whole riff about leaf blowers, and I understand that gas powered vehicles are part of the problem. However, on the scale of what's polluting the atmosphere and making global climate change a reality, gas powered leaf blowers aren't high on that list. But they don't believe in climate change, but they believe that FEMA doesn't have the money to stop this storm damage because the money's gone to the immigrants. So again, let's unpack that real quick. Number one, FEMA administers a fund for shelter and housing of migrant workers. There's a difference between a migrant and an immigrant. There's a difference between giving money to anybody and giving all the money so there's no money in the agency available for disaster relief. FEMA officials, the administration, administer this fund. And again, it's for migrants. These are migrant workers like the people on the Eastern Shore who come in now to pick crabs for crab meat for Marylanders, Virginia, people who get crab meat all over the world, but mostly in Maryland. When I was a young man, you go down the Eastern Shore, you go to Crisfield, you go to Kent Narrows, those crab houses with the people who pick crabs were generational women, black and white, who they did this because their mothers did that and their grandmothers and their great grandmothers. That's how they made money. That's how they put people through college on the money that these women made picking crabs. But that family generational market is gone. So what do we have doing it? What do we have doing it now is migrant workers. They move across the country or come into the country to do work that Americans don't want to do. They're migrant workers. They're protected migrant workers. They're not in the country illegally. They're here to do work. And then let's talk about immigrants real quick. This whole thing about the immigrants and they got to go and we got to get rid of the immigrants. And I've talked about this before and I've written about this before. The immigrants, Donald Trump is out here telling people that the immigrants are ruining the blood of our country. Those are his words. Those are his exact words. And we're going to, once he's elected, if he's elected, they're going to do mass deportation of all these immigrants in this country who are ruining this country. Now, nothing is absolute. Absolute. And when I say this, I mean this from a standpoint of from what I've seen and the majority of what I've seen with these two eyes. By far, any Hispanic, Latinx immigrant to this country, whether here legally or illegally, from what I've seen, they are some hardworking people. I have not seen, and I know they're out there, I just haven't seen them. They are not just sitting around collecting money from some shadow government agency so that the Democrats can have extra votes. That's a myth. That doesn't happen. First of all, you cannot be a non-citizen and vote in a presidential election. It's illegal. It can't happen. You got to be documented and you got to have documented citizenship to do it. It doesn't happen. But these people are not taking money out of your pocket. They're not taking food off your table. They're working. There's not enough American citizens who are cutting grass, who are shoveling snow, who are doing construction, who are waiting tables, bussing tables, cleaning restaurants, cleaning office buildings. This office building the studio is in, there's people cleaning this building. They're Hispanic. They're immigrants. I don't know if they're here legally or not. It's not important to me. They're working. Construction, home improvement, hospitality. And you can go down the list. These people here working their hearts off, and they're doing it for either minimum wage or less than minimum wage. But they have 6, 7 people in the family, and they all put their money in that pot at the same time so they all can live and progress. When I grew up, you and Troy, and like you all grew up Edmondson Village in Catonsville, right?
Yes.
When I was a little kid, my mom and I lived in Catonsville in the Melvin Park Apartments, Suda Road. I drove through there recently, last couple of years, and the whole area now is Hispanic. It like everybody like they all live down there now, but they're all living together and they're all pooling their money so that they all can survive. So if you got a job, if you're somebody in that family, you got a job making $2.65 an hour and you're working 60 hours a week or more, but everybody else in the family is doing the same thing. You're putting your money together. You're not buying a nice car. You're not wasting your money on fancy clothes, designer labels. Even though there's people, like I said, nothing's absolute. There are people doing it, but for the most part, they're all pulling the money and they're working and working hard. If Trump was to win, and they implement mass deportation of these people and stop allowing people in the country, who's going to do the jobs we just described? There's not a job that these people are doing that they're taking from American citizens who want to do the work. And I've posted this on Facebook, and let me say it here on air. If a person who can't speak this language and is uneducated and snuck into this country is taking a job from you, then we need to reevaluate who you are. Because this country provides free education from kindergarten to 12th grade to all American citizens. You can go to college on all kinds of grants and bills, and then I know you can go to higher level education and cost you a grip more than 2 arms and a leg to go to some of the more elite schools. But if you're telling me you can't get a job because some immigrant came here who can't speak the language and is uneducated and walked from Guatemala, Salva Rico to Maryland, and you can't get a job because they have the job, then you need to look at yourself. Because long time ago, we as Black people, for the most part, again, nothing's absolute. We as Black people farmed out grass cutting from teenagers to crackheads, right? Crackheads are cutting grass. We're cutting grass and shoveling snow. Crackheads have been replaced by Southern continent immigrants who come up here to do the work and making no bones about it. Again, nothing is absolute. Are there criminal elements in that community? Hell yeah. But there's criminal elements in every sector of society, whether it be white collar crime, blue collar crime, violent crime, black, white, brown, red, yellow. There are criminals in all walks of of those communities. So don't sit here and say, yeah, only the immigrants are causing violent crime, because that's not true. But they're also working their asses off so they can live the American dream that our forefathers. Now, again, let me pull back. Black people, descendants of Africans who've been here for generations, are the only people that came to America involuntarily and were forced to work for free. Think about that. We are not immigrants. We do not come from immigrants. So when people say immigrants, we're a nation of immigrants, we ain't all a nation of immigrants. A lot of us are former or descendants of former slave, forced labor. We came here, and after slavery, there are people in my family who worked hard so that their kids could go to college and have a better way. But we also have people in our community, white community, yellow community, brown community, who feel they're above cutting grass to earn a living. You've been to my house, you've seen my yard, you've seen my property, you see how it's kept. I hire a Hispanic guy and his crew. They get my grass, my yard done in 15 minutes or less. It's like 4 of them out there working their behinds off. And I pay them $70. They got split $70 between 4 of them. And I'm sure the guy who's running the crew gets the majority of that. But I also know I'm not the only customer he has. And in a weekend, if they can cut 20 lawns on average $70, and my yard's not the biggest and my yard's not the smallest, I'm sure he's getting more for larger properties. He's willing to go everywhere, anywhere, and do whatever. And then I was talking to him a couple of months ago, and I was telling him how upset I am about the concrete on my driveway. And he said, "Hey, man, I do that. I do concrete." "How you got time to do concrete and cut grass?" "I do it." Okay. He also does brick work and home improvement work. This man is about his hustle. He's really about his hustle. He probably makes more than me, but he's working 10 times harder than me. And he's not a rarity amongst the immigrant community in this country. He's out here putting in that work, son, for real. He and his people are putting in that work and they're earning that money. And they're not sitting here waiting for a government handout. Earlier this summer, he told me, "I can't get there this week. I'll be there next week." I asked him, "What happened? Why couldn't you get here?" One of his trucks caught fire and burnt up. He had to get another truck. It ain't a brand new truck. It's a truck that works, and he's got lawnmowers and a trailer on it. And they're putting in that work. So this whole myth that the government is funding these immigrants, it's a myth. If you open your eyes and look at it, it's clearly a myth. They're not taking jobs from anybody who's willing to do the work. They're just doing the work that we as Americans have stopped wanting and needing to do. So let's stop with these lies that Trump and his crew are propagating about the immigrants in this country. They're not sitting around waiting for a handout. But if he gets elected and they deport all of them, they will be calling for them people to come back as quick as they can, because nobody's going to be busting tables. You can't get teenagers to want to do it anymore. I bust tables when I was a teenager to make extra money. And back then, I got $1.65 an hour to do it. Now, economy was a little bit different then. $1.65 went a lot farther than $1.65 goes today. But I don't see a lot of young people doing that, busting tables these days. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. Again, there's no absolutes. But like you said, hospitality, clean, office cleaning, construction, home improvement. There are very few Home Depots I can drive into the parking lot of and not see 6, 7, 8, 9 people of Hispanic descent sitting out there trying to get day work. and doing work. There's some of them that are just a bunch of bullshit, just like there's a bunch of everybody, a bunch of bullshit. But they're working, they're out there trying. I'm on record now, and I've said it before, and I'm gonna keep saying it. The economy is such right now that the only reason anyone would not be able to find a job is because they're not looking for a job. If you got a degree in ancient Parisian um, poetry, you might not be able to find a job doing that. Maybe you can, but that's not where the job market is right now. You can find a job doing anything if you want to do something. Right now, the opportunity is out there. The Biden administration last quarter added 225,000 new jobs. So the work is out there. People are working. There's nobody that can't get a job because some uneducated, non-English speaking immigrant is keeping them from getting that job. So if your main focus is you want Trump to be president because he's going to get rid of the immigrants, one, you believe in a myth. Two, if it happens, woe be to you for voting for that shit, because you're going to be the one that's going to need to go out there and now get the work, get the job doing the work that no one else wants to do. So let's stop the bullshit. Let's stop the lies. FEMA is not subsidizing these people. These people are making money, and they're doing work with a smile because they appreciate it and they want it and they're doing it. But Kamala Harris is starting to take the lead in a lot of polls, but they won't say it because they don't want to say it, because they don't want people to get complacent. If you can vote, vote. If you can register, register to vote and then vote. November 5th, 9 days before Rock's birthday. Get your souls to the polls and vote. You can early vote, you can mail in vote, but you got to vote by November 5th.
And for those that's early voting, please look at the ballot, man. It's already been problems with the ballot where Vice President Kamala Harris and Waltz weren't even on the early voting ballot. So please pay attention to what it is that you're signing.
Yes. And if you get a ballot that doesn't have them on the ballot, because Elon Musk and people like that are sponsoring that stuff. They're doing polling and they're setting up scenarios where people are being redlined out of being able to vote. This shit is real. This is not a myth propagated by the left-wing media or whatever. This shit is real. Any group that tries to prevent you from voting is afraid of your vote. And I got into an argument with some random ass dude on Facebook who jumped on a comment I made on a friend's post as a joke. And his brother, he's from Baltimore. I don't remember his name. He is diehard Trump guy and came for me about don't believe the myth to that and I had to tell him, first of all, I don't know who you are. I don't appreciate you coming for me. This ain't what I'm in this on this message on this thread about, this post about. I made a joke. If you don't like it, keep it moving. I'm not going to argue with you because I believe in one thing, and one thing stands straight down my back as strong as me being able to breathe air to live. I will not get into any discussion, any debate with anybody that Harriet Tubman would have left behind. And if your dumb ass thinks that you just like Trump and Trump is for you and and is about you, then you're an idiot, because the man never did anything for anybody, white or black, yellow, orange, green, brown, who was not himself. His whole life history has been about him. And there was the whole thing a couple of weeks ago that's died down, but it's still in the hearts and minds of some of the Trump supporters, that Kamala Harris does not have the experience to run to be president. This woman has 21 years of public service, from being vice president to being a senator, working backwards: vice president, senator, district attorney, state's attorney, prosecutor. And you're talking about a man who lucked into the presidency, and 4 years of politics after 3 years of being political. He never did anything in public service for anybody that didn't benefit himself in any way, shape, or form. She's got more experience in her pinky finger. And then on top of that, let's not forget that you've got people like Liz Cheney, Dick Cheney, former members of the Trump administration, Republican members of the Trump administration, former members of the George W. Bush administration, who are not only supporting Kamala, telling you they're going to vote for Kamala, and they mean it, because they know what kind of threat this man presents. And I was saying earlier, and you and I talked about a little bit earlier, Rock, before we went on the air, just did this trip, and I was in the airport and got into this discussion. Wasn't me started, guy started it, about politics. And this man was a Trump supporter, and we got into this debate about things. And I told him, for me, the fact that he led an insurrection against the United States government disqualifies him from ever having my vote. And this guy said to me, "Oh, it wasn't an insurrection. I've seen video of them, of the cops, the security cops opening the doors to let the people in. It was a peaceful protest." Bullshit. And the guy told me, and I believe him, he's former military. I said, as a former military person, you know. Because he said, these people weren't even armed. I said, first of all, you know, you don't have to be armed to lead an insurrection. You don't need to be armed to attack somebody and make it an assault. I said, believe me, go with that. They didn't have firearms, but if I come after you with a toothpick in my hand, that's a weapon, right? You said, yeah. I said, so if I attack you with a toothpick, it's a weapon, right? Yeah. So I'm armed at this point because I have a weapon, right? Well, yeah. I said, so what's a fucking flagpole? Excuse my French. But if I have a flagpole and I'm swinging it at you, if I have bear spray and I'm spraying it on you, if I have fire extinguishers and I'm throwing them at you, I've armed myself and I'm attacking you, right? He said, yeah, but that didn't really happen to that level. And I said, let me tell you a quick story, my friend. And I'm going to tell the story right before we go off the air. I have a very good friend. You may meet him Sunday at the game, Rock. But he's a Capitol Police officer. He was there January 6th. He was on duty. When the shit took off and it was on the news, I contacted his wife and I said, hey, is he okay? Is everything okay? She said, yeah, I'm so worried right now. I'm upset. I don't know what is going on. He just called me from his cell phone and said, I love you. Please hug and kiss our daughter and tell her I love her, because I'm not sure I'm coming home today. He told her he had several officers down who were wounded, and he was about to like knuck up. He was about to go out there and fight. And there's a video and I think everyone has seen it. Probably didn't pay as much attention to it as it for me. But when they were standing at the barricade and people were pulling on the barricade, the barriers, one officer who's clearly a ranking officer comes up, snatches off his own cap, and just drills a dude in the face, and then grabs the barrier back. That's my buddy. They were in constant battle for hours, fighting for not only to save the Capitol and protect the people inside, but fighting for their lives, man. They were fighting. I've been in fights. I know you've been in fights. Nobody's fight lasts more than 15 minutes. Your cousin fights professionally. Each round is 3 minutes, right?
Right.
His fights don't last a minute. But that being said, even a professional boxing match, a title match goes 12 rounds. 12 rounds of 3 minutes each with rest in between. These people were fighting for hours. When nobody ringing the bell for everybody to stop. They were fighting for hours for their lives and for the lives of the people beside them. So don't tell me that this didn't happen and this was a peaceful protest and it wasn't an insurrection. And don't tell me Trump didn't start it and he didn't lead it, he didn't call for it, because we know better. Trump supporters believe what they want to believe. They don't believe their eyes. They don't believe what you show them. They don't believe what you tell them. They believe what they want to believe. And this same guy who's former military was asked, how can you support a man who says anybody that's in the military is a loser and a chump? And he said, this guy said to me, he never said that. I said, well, I can show you video if you want to look at it, because I had asked him to prove to me that he was right when he said that Kamala Harris was the border czar and failed. And I told him that's a myth. She was never appointed the border czar. She was appointed to look at the causes of why people are coming to our border in such numbers by going to these South American countries and trying to find the root cause of all this. And he said, no, I can prove it. And he pulled up his phone and he asked his device for verification. And I don't know what came up on his phone, because after he got the answer, he stuck his phone in his pocket and walked away from me. It doesn't matter to them. They want to believe everything he says because they want it to be so. America is changing. America is in a bad place. But America is going to be America as long as we keep it being America, and stop this bullshit by this man who says he wants to be a dictator on day one, and regulate who you love, how you love, where you love, and what you look at, what you read, where you read it, and when you can read it. If you really want America to stay America, get your ass out to the polls and vote on or before November 5th. And let's just end this madness of the Trump phenomenon. Let's end this now before we don't have a country that we were raised to believe was supposed to be what it is, where everybody's vote counts once and it's a representative democracy. That's my time. I'm done. I got to go find some food, because don't nobody bring food or order food for me when I come into the station. I bring in chicken wings that I've smoked. I bring in beef ribs that I smoke. I bring in pork ribs that I smoke. I feed people in this station, and people order food, and nobody orders food for me. No one offers me a donut, but that's okay, because I'm a good person in my heart, and my heart is hungry.
I offered you a piece of what I had.
Yeah, a piece of a French fry. Man, look.
I didn't say a piece of a French fry. I said, did you want a fry?
You said, do you want a piece of a fry? We can roll back. So, and listen to it. But don't matter. It's going to be okay, because it's October. And October is the start of brisket season for I Be Smoking. And people want brisket. They know who to call. But with that, the man with the plan and the man whips it up. Magic Mike himself, DJ Rock Nice. Fired up. Night, America.
The Nitelifer, the night circle of sanity, ready to show, ready to show. What you got? What you got? What you got?
I'm not even going to talk about Italianos, which is where I got to go.
The Nitelifer, the night circle of sanity.
Somebody told me about that spot. I'm just going to go there myself tonight. Ain't nobody bringing me no food. Ain't no food for me. I am.
She went got her nails done and just went over to.
I understand. I understand. She went over there. She probably had somebody hold her hand to go up the escalator because I know she's too short to reach the rail.
We was at her godmother's funeral on Friday.
Uh-huh.
She walked up to the podium.
Don't do this.
And speak on the mic.
Don't do this.
Yeah.
Don't do this.
She had to grab the mic.
Don't do this.
She wasn't tall enough to speak into the mic, so she had to grab the mic. She had to grab the mic to speak into the mic.
They didn't have a box or anything for her to stand on.
The night circle of sanity, ready to show, ready to show.
It's hard out here for a Keebler.